G'day guys and welcome back to the WGL APAC Season 1. My name, of course, as always, hasn't changed yet, is Jordan Mays, and his name is Alex Blakey, also hasn't changed yet. But you know what's been changing this week?
What, Jordan? Tell us.
The fortunes of a lot of those teams which we would consider to be favoured in a lot of the matchups, because they have been losing a lot, or not necessarily losing, but things have been going a little bit better for maybe the underdog teams.
Yep. Exactly. It has been the week of upsets. I think it's safe to say this week, with teams going to tiebreakers when they shouldn't. We had B Gaming and EL Gaming yesterday go to a tiebreaker, and we've just seen, for those of you tuning in, of course, the guys from Twist taking Meltdown, the number 2 spot on the ladder versus the last spot, to a tiebreaker 4-5. It was a close game. We don't know why.
Nope. That's pretty fair to say. But here for Team Efficiency up against EpicGear Profit, it's another situation where Team Efficiency should probably be able to close this one out pretty safely. But having said that, that's what I've thought about a lot of matches today and yesterday, and it hasn't necessarily gone that way. So, to be honest, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised to see Team Efficiency get taken to a tiebreaker here by EpicGear Profit. First, though, let's have a look at the guys from Team Efficiency and see how they're doing at this point in the season. Currently sitting in number 6. Quite okay.
Yeah, number 6, cannot complain about that. But, well, they've had some hot and cold showings.
That's right, yeah. I mean, they are a team that, can come out and 5-0 a team like EpicGear Profit here, and then on another day they'll come out and it'll be a 5-4, or they might even lose it. But
yeah,
hopefully, at least for Team Efficiency, they're going to be able to close this one out.
Yeah, look, and for Team Efficiency, in terms of their lineup, I mean, they've got a couple of guys to look out for. Bolognese, he's been making some big players in the past. Moore as well. They did have a few roster shakeups, roster changes leading into this season as well. But I think overall, when they're on point, Team Efficiency are a very solid team. When they're playing well. So hard team to face up against, no matter where you are in the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of on point, I mean, Team Efficiency have been looking pretty good lately. They're on a 3-match win streak, so definitely coming in form. EpicGear Profit, on the other hand, aren't doing the best, sitting down there in position 10.
No, Team EpicGear Profit, well, we have got Angry B there, and he's one of the guys to look out for on the TGP side. But you're right, they haven't been looking to crash hot. Look, they're playing for pride now, because they're sitting on 10th at the ladder, and there's no technical way that they can get back up to that 8th position that they need to be safe. But I mean, they can still put on a showing here against Team Efficiency if they try hard. They've been kind of gradually improving a little bit, but it's going to be hard for them.
Yeah, you're right. And, across the board, it seems like the guys from Team Efficiency have a much stronger map pool. So already before the match has even started, they have an advantage coming into it. So I would say here, for Team Efficiency, 5-0.
5-0?
Yeah.
You reckon a 5-0? I reckon a 5-1. I reckon Team EpicGear Profit will be able to take away one match from Team Efficiency. They always seem to drop one. They're not a clean team.
Yeah.
I think so. Wouldn't be surprised to see Team Efficiency, lose one side. But we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I can tell you our first map for this matchup is going to be Himmelsdorf. It is Team Efficiency's pick. And to be honest, it's not a bad map for Efficiency, though I'm surprised to see them not picking Ruinberg first.
Yeah,
which is actually going to be the 4th map, which is also Team Efficiency's pick. But yeah, I'm surprised not to see Ruinberg coming out. I guess the thought process behind that one for Efficiency there is that the guys on EpicGear Profit are okay, actually, on Ruinberg, but they're pretty atrocious on Himmelsdorf.
Yeah, and many other maps.
Well, yes.
Yeah, so I think Himmelsdorf is a safe pick. But still, it's still a map where any team can win, honestly, as long as you've got the individual skill. And I think EGP do have the individual skill, but then they come out with a lineup like that, and I'm just like, well, Team Efficiency are going to win this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but EpicGear Profit, look, let's take a look at what they picked and why I say that, because they've got 2 Conquerors, that Tier 9 British heavy tank, which overall, it's got less alpha, comparing it to the T10, because if you're going Tier 9 heavies, you generally go the T10 on Himmelsdorf. It has a higher alpha, has higher penetration. I'm fairly sure as well that it also has higher HP, just by a smidge, if not the same HP as the Conqueror. It's just a better tank in general for a Himmelsdorf. And then they've got the T110E5, which, I mean, again, we've seen it early on in Himmelsdorf. It never works on Hibbles because there are so few times when you can actually use that turret just to poke out over little mounds, whereas, you know, we couldn't use something like an IS-4 or an IS-7 instead. So, overall, not particularly impressed with TGP's lineup, but team efficiency going with a lot more of a standard tank picking setup right there.
Yeah, for once this week on Himmelsdorf, we're not going to be seeing a 4005 or a FV215B183.
Yeah, which is a little bit disappointing, to be honest. And I know that TGP, at least they've kind of graduated a little bit in their tank picks, because earlier this season they used to pick E3s, T110 E3s, the Tier 10 American tank destroyer, one of the Tier 10 American tank destroyers, and I'm not a big fan of the E3, so it's good to see that they've graduated from that on the defense of Himmelsdorf, but overall the E5 is still not a big step up.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this should be a 2-0 on Himmelsdorf here in the favour of team efficiency, and by the sounds of things, you agree.
I'm pretty convinced right now. I think with the fact that it's going to be a 2-0 here on Himmelsdorf, but everyone else watching at home should let us know what you think, who you think is going to win. Tweet at us at WGL APAC or using the hashtag WGL APAC, and definitely connect because, of course, Jordan, later today we've got a little prize in store for everyone. 200,000 credits and 3 days worth of premium to give away, so stay tuned, and well, why don't we make it the person who can win this one, all they have to do is message us with their favourite tank on Himmelsdorf and your World of Tanks Asia username, and we can, who knows, pick the best one and sort you out with a nice little 200k credits and 3 days of premium. Nice little prize to get practicing on Himmelsdorf, and maybe load your tanks up with some premium. Who knows?
I'd say AMX 50B, my favourite here for Himmelsdorf. Although I don't own that tank, I like watching it.
Yep, mine's got to be the 183. I love the 183.
I would have guessed that, to be fair.
Yep.
But it does look like we are about to get underway here on Himmelsdorf, and the attacking side starting off here is going to be team efficiency. Okay,
so team efficiency here on the attack. Going to be heading, well, some of them are going to be heading up the hill. They've got Safi in that bat chat going up the hill, and at the start of the season, we honestly didn't see a bat chat every game on Himmelsdorf, but now we always do, pretty much, no matter what the team. So EpicGear Profit are going to be setting up in a very, very defensive position down there near their spawn, really not moving too far forward at all. So it's effectively going to mean that team efficiency can push right through the banana, right through the center of the map, completely scot-free, and there's no way for EpicGear Profit to punish them there.
Yeah, efficiency already have got a pretty reasonable indication as to what's going on the map here for EpicGear Profit. They have a reasonable amount of map control and presence. And as you mentioned, getting down that banana area is going to be pretty easy for team efficiency when they do opt to go there. For the moment, though, they're holding back pretty safely. And I wonder if maybe they're going to put Scale just on that 2-cap, try and draw a bit of a rotate, maybe from one of those EpicGear members, and try and pick them off.
Yeah, potentially. I'm not too sure. They might be wanting to do something like that. But at the moment, Scale, it's looking like he is going to be maybe heading towards the 2 flag fairly soon. I think the Conqueror, their hot GP, was just spotted either by Skell or by the other man up there. I think that is Safi in that Batchat 25T. But hot GP again in the Conqueror in that little hidey hole. He's even sitting so far back in the hidey hole. It's like generally you'll actually sit, like your tank is still protected if you sit in that hidey hole there, the front of it. And I don't see why EpicGear Profit would pick the T110E5 and then not put the T110E5
right there
in this hidey hole. Like that's
Speaking of, where is the T125?
It's at the back.
Holding in the B3 area, so
weird spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, right now, it's looking like team efficiency are actually gravitating a little bit more towards the 1 flag. Looking at their positions, they've got the AMX 1390 up on the 2 flag. That might be just to distract or kind of confuse EpicGear Profit. But at the moment, they've got their 113 just getting ready to push up towards this 1 flag. And JP Xerxes in this one. Of course, the 113, that Chinese tier 10 heavy tank. And It was actually one of the only tanks of the time that was truly made in China. There was no Soviet tank that this was based off, the 113. So it's got a pretty nice gun on it. That's why we do see it picked quite often. It's obviously plays a lot like a medium tank in terms of its mobility as well. So we can see more has actually just been spotted there in that AMX 50B. So EpicGear Profit, they know where one of the team efficiency members are, but TE, they've still got Party and Co down at the bottom area of the map there. So they probably don't want to start anything until those two get up, but it's looking like they're moving on towards the cap.
Yeah, it is a very split sort of attack at the moment here for team efficiency, and it'll take a little while for Party and I think it's Dexter down there to get up in towards the fight here. Both of them in AMX 50Bs, which are a relatively quick heavy tank. But even so, if we see a couple of team efficiency members go down early here, it's going to spell trouble. 45 seconds left on the cap. EpicGear Profit have plenty of time to play with, and they're just chasing down JP Xerxes, who essentially doesn't really have any backup at all here. So I'd say JP Xerxes is going to be going down relatively quick, but Attila Dalby has been absolutely destroyed there by Bolognese, and now those AMX 50Bs just in a good position to fire into anyone that's trying to push JP Xerxes now, and seems like he's, well, relatively safe, actually.
Yeah, JP Xerxes is basically completely fine over there, and it's looking like in that 113 he will be trading it out with God Tank. God Tank, though, he's all the way out in the open. He does have a tank body protecting him a little bit, but not the best, as he's a few shells away from going down, and JP Xerxes there might even want to trade it out with Angry Bee. But for sure, team efficiency have actually baited out Team EpicGear Profit quite effectively so far.
Yeah, they definitely have. It's been a good start here, but they do need to consolidate on it and actually convert it into a win here. Skell still just hanging around on that 2-cap, putting a bit of doubt in the mind there of EpicGear Profit. JP Xerxes has survived for such a long time here. Really, no one from EpicGear Profit can actually safely peek him, and it's just a battle across the courtyard, which is not something that we tend to see all that often.
And look at this. Team EpicGear Profit is sending back Hot GP. He's just spotted out Skell, and that's good. That's meaning essentially that Team Efficiency are kind of distracting a Tier 9 with their Tier 8. So Skell doing a really good job of that, but at the moment EpicGear Profit not really giving any kind of armor away to Team Efficiency. As I say that though, Horang goes down, and this is almost like a, reminds me of a random battle in terms of how these tanks are just shooting from opposite sides of the courtyard here. Yeah. Don't often see that.
Angry Bee finally going to be able to take out JP Xerxes, and that's the first member of Team Efficiency down. Dexter very quickly following that as well, and now Skell, he's in a bit of trouble here. Obviously not going to be taken down by that shot of the Conqueror, but ooh, he's very low on HP as soon as that Conqueror comes off the reload. He is a goner, and now suddenly we're back to a 4v4 and things are looking pretty even.
Yeah, there we go. So evening up the score, and those AMX 50Bs are going to be pretty crucial for team efficiency, but with Moore, oh no, there's a Conqueror on Moore's back, and he's definitely not going to have that reload done. Well, I don't think he's going to have that reload done by the time
he should get it done, but
he should, actually.
He's still only one shot, so best case scenario, he gets 1 or 2 shots off here onto Hot GP. As soon as Hot GP comes around this corner, Moore is going to be gone.
Yeah, but Safi's actually coming back to protect him right there, and if Safi gets there in time, then Hot GP could be in for a little bit of trouble. Oh.
He did what he needed to do. He'll go down here, but I think that's a worthwhile trade. Tier 9 for Tier 10, obviously, and also getting, you know, the AMX 50B out of the battle is pretty crucial there for EpicGear Profit. Now the E100 behind Bolognese, this is not looking good. Oh, actually, he's decided to take the shot onto Party, which is probably not a bad idea in the end there. Now a 3 versus 2 here in the favor of EpicGear Profit. Bolognese might just get the reload off here and be able to take down God Tank. Oh, it's so close. He does have the reload off, and he does manage to take down the kill there. Jurtis finishes him off with a ram. Now a 1 versus 2, soon to be a 1 versus 1. Actually, no, Safi, he's on the reload.
Oh no, that's not good news for Safi. And Safi right now, all it will take is 1 shell from Jurtis' E100 to take him down. And team efficiency, the issue. Oh, there we go, Jurtis taking him down. A nice big shell to the back, and that will be Team EpicGear Profit taking out the win there on Himmelstor.
Wrong again.
Wrong again.
Wrong again.
Can we just stop making predictions?
I think so.
Because they've been completely wrong this weekend.
Yeah. Well, EpicGear Profit off to a good start there on Himmelsdorf. And who would have thought? The statistics said efficiency much better on Himmelsdorf. But, I mean, to be honest, it got very close and could have potentially gone either way in the end there. But still, efficiency, they'll be left reeling a little bit after that.
Definitely left reeling, and like, this is the dangerous thing for Team Efficiency, is that they're a team that does not like to start off, bad. That they feed off momentum.
Yeah.
So by losing that first one, not good news.
All right, well, let's have a look and see what went wrong there for the guys on Team Efficiency. Hopefully, maybe the replays will give us a bit of an indication, but I'm not sure really if there was anything that was particularly awful coming out there from Efficiency.
No, I don't think so. Like, really, Team Efficiency, they just traded it out, essentially. It was as simple as that. They got out into the center of the map. They won some trades. They lost some trades. Like, you can see Skill there getting done in his AMX 1390 and hot GP. As well managed to get that shot off. And maybe if Safi had come in there a little bit sooner, he might have been able to change that little engagement, but all just little things for Team Efficiency that kind of added up in the end. And I think
this was a pretty good shot, to be fair, from Jerdis.
Very good shot. Maybe Safi could have, ducked and weaved a little bit more.
Who knows? I mean, Safi was going to have a difficult time there, but it was definitely doable just for a solo bat chat. I think the FV215B was low enough for a one-shot. The E100 definitely a couple, but you can always outmaneuver an E100 in a bat chat.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There was potential for him.
There's always potential to outplay an E100 when you're in a bat chat. So, look, a little bit disappointing there for Team Efficiency to come off that one with a loss. But I think as we move in towards this defensive side, I really don't like watching EpicGear Profit on defense.
All right, well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's first look back at the post-battle stats. Moore did a bit of work for Team Efficiency, but really, you would have hoped those AMX 50Bs might have done a little bit more damage there for Efficiency, though Party, I mean, that's quite a respectable amount of damage, really. Just didn't go their way in the end.
Yeah, so Party right there with 2.8k damage on that AMX 50B. And yeah, Moore plays that AMX 50B really well. We've seen him in the last couple of weeks. He's put out a few pretty big performances, has Mr. Moore.
Yeah, it definitely has. Really, there's no one that actually didn't really contribute there for Efficiency. Just, obviously, it did get very close, so that's why we're seeing statistics look like this. But again, still not a good result there for Team Efficiency.
T110E5 down the bottom.
Well,
surprise, surprise.
We all know your thoughts on the T110E5, Alex.
Surprised it won, to be honest.
I'm surprised EpicGear Profit won. So
well,
yes.
That too, exactly. Surprised EpicGear Profit won against Team Efficiency. So, like, maybe these teams are finally learning, finally adapting to the metagame a little bit more. In our region, I don't know. Is it the case that teams like Team EpicGear Profit, now that they've been eliminated, well, not been eliminated, but now that they are locked in for relegation, now they just show up. Twist.
That would be a bit of a sad
Profit,
story, wouldn't it?
Like,
because obviously you want to be showing up when you still have an opportunity to stay in the Gold League here, but. We digress a little bit. Looks like we're going to be ready to head into our second half here of Himmelsdorf relatively shortly. Interested to see what the tank picks come out here as. I'd say something pretty standard. Although
FE4005 and two E100s on the EpicGear Profit side. I do like that pick there by Team Efficiency. That is really going to work in their favour. The FVs, that was the single FV I should say, and they've got an IS4 as well, which, I mean, very solid tank here on Himmelsdorf. I don't mind having one IS4. Got a decent win rate, just about around the 50 mark, I do believe, in our league. Just taking a look at it now, it is 53%, so even better than 50 overall. So I reckon Team Efficiency should win this one, just looking at the tank picks, Jordan.
Well, that's what we said last time too.
Yes, but
Efficiency.
Okay. I reckon Team EpicGear Profit should win this one.
Yeah. Well,
there you go.
I mean, Team Efficiency on paper, statistically speaking, not quite as good on the defensive side as they are on the attacking side here at Himmelsdorf, which is fairly understandable. But they didn't look all that bad on the attacking side. So I think this one could go either way, really. I almost don't want to make a prediction because I think it's just
well
going to be blown out of the water, really.
I didn't see any bad tanks there on EpicGear Profit side per se, but FE4005 always gets a vote from me. So let's see where it heads out to. As will be EpicGear Profit on the attack and Team Efficiency on the defense right here, and TE going really aggressive on the defense. That's what we like to see, as Tilla Delby actually ricochets, I think, off that AMX 1390 of Skell. Might have just hit his tracks even. As we do see more positioned very aggressively in that FV4005, so he should actually be able to get some of these tanks as they're crossing the banana. This is going to be dangerous. He needs someone to spot for him, though, I think. We may need someone to spot for him. We're about to find out. If he can get that shot across. Oh. There we go.
But the shot from Karetny not going to be hitting there onto Moore. E100's pushing right into the courtyards. That's a little bit interesting for me here. Wouldn't have thought that would be the best strategy.
Well, it means Moore gets another free shot on them. It's simple as that.
Yeah, well, there's going to be lots of free shots coming out from Efficiency here. Two lumbering heavy tanks driving across the most open part of the map here on Himmelsdorf. Riddle me that one, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but let's take a look at Moore here as he goes for his next shot. He's going to try for it onto Hot GP, but I feel as though when it's a low percentage shot like that in the FE4005, you're almost much better just poking out and getting the guaranteed damage on the E100s than trying for a 50-50 on something like an FE215B, because it's not necessarily lucky. Not like you're going to be dealing that much more damage to them.
Well, Team Efficiency starting off really very well here so far on the defensive side. Moore's just fired another shot off that's missed something.
Yeah,
I think he was aiming for Hot again.
Yep. So that's not great. Moore needs to really put a little bit more effort into the shots, or just go for Jerdis. I mean, yeah, like an FE4005 firing Hesh isn't going to do much to the front of an E100, but I mean, honestly, he could even load AP and go for the lower glasses there, and that would work. But it's not going to be the case in the meantime.
Have a look at where Tilla Dalby is, though. He is putting Moore under a lot of pressure at the moment. Not sure how he's got all the way up there, but at the moment, Moore is really looking very low on HP. Only a few more shots for Tilla Dalby to actually be able to take him down, which could turn things around, to be honest. Although Skell seems to be chasing him down. Moore at the moment is, I don't know, does he have a shell in the clip? Is he available to shoot Tilla Dalby there? Now he's a one shot, but Tilla Dalby has had to back away, and now is going to be up against Skell in a bit of a duel. Tilla Dalby definitely getting the worst end of that one. Safi is able to pick that up. But now, once again, EpicGear Profit find themselves with another tank down.
Yeah, there we go. So EpicGear Profit right now not looking too good, as they've lost one E100 and one RU251, but they have managed to get Team Efficiency down to about 7.4 thousand HP overall. I think one more shot from Bolognese should be enough to take down this E100 of Jerdis, and Bolognese getting around the side of it, so it should be a fairly simple one. There we go. But now with both of those E100s off the field, EpicGear Profit have a lot less alpha damage on their lineup, but the rest of their tanks are actually looking quite healthy, and Bolognese has to be very, very careful.
Yeah, Bolognese isn't going to get another reload off here, I don't think. He's very low on HP. Hot. Ooh, going down, so now Bolognese maybe has enough time to get him a shot.
Yeah,
okay,
there we go.
Fair enough. Let's just leave the guy on 52 HP alive. That sounds good.
There you go. I think that was actually a ricochet off of Hot GP there. So not looking great for Team EpicGear Profit, and it should just be a matter of cleanup here for Team Efficiency. Only 3 members of EGP left. One more goes down, and well, the brawl has just gone well in Team Efficiency's favour. EpicGear Profit there, they left their E100s out for too long, and there's not much that a 113 and a Bat Chat can now do against 6 members of Team Efficiency.
Nope, and now it's just down to that Bat Chat of Horang, and looking like we're going to be heading to a 1-1 there after the first map of Himmelsdorf. Probably not where Efficiency would have wanted to be, but I don't think it's too bad. Like, they still have plenty of time here to come back and get a...
That might have just been their warm-up. Honestly, that might have just been their warm-up, the first map there, because that second half, the one we just saw, they look absolutely normal Team Efficiency dominant. And it helped. It definitely helped a lot, don't get me wrong, that Team EpicGear Profit did some stuff like, you know, just driving 2 E100s like just pressing W on them and leaving them out in the courtyard, just driving straight towards team efficiency.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that? But you know, I've never seen that before, and I don't think I'll see it again. You know, like,
True.
I mean, I suppose the argument might be that every time you poke the E100s, the E100s can get a shot off onto you. It's 700 damage shot, maybe, but not convinced.
Nope, neither am I. But it didn't really work out, regardless of what our opinions are there on those two EpicGear Prophet E100s. As you can see, yeah, it just didn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, Curtis survived for quite a while, really, but just it put EpicGear Prophet in a bit of a hole very early on, losing Karetny so fast.
Yeah, exactly. And getting so much damage dealt on towards them. But right now, team efficiency there. I mean, after that initial scuffle with the E100s in the center, EpicGear Prophet, they didn't really utilize it too much.
No, not really.
They didn't. I mean, honestly, Tiller Dalby in the RU251, he did the best job out of all of the team EpicGear Prophet guys in terms of positioning. If EpicGear Prophet had, you know, had another bat chat, I think, where Tiller Dalby is. I'm not sure if I forget whether they had a bat chat or not, but you know, if they had just another tank there helping him out, even a fast 113 that could have made it up the hill with him, you know, then that would have caused a lot more confusion for team efficiency. It wouldn't have just been a case of, oh yeah, let's just send the bat chat to deal with the RU251 behind us. It would have been like, oh crap, there's an RU251 and a 113, or an RU251 and a bat chat.
Yeah, well, I mean, hindsight is 2020, so can't really blame them for that. But let's see how much damage actually Tiller was able to do from that position. And, well, not finding himself up on the top 7, but understandable considering he's in a tier 8.
Yep. No
FC4005 also missing.
Mr. Skell there managed to do 1.8 thousand damage in that AMX 1390, and Mr. Moore in the FV4005 only 1288. So I think honestly, out of those 6 shots, I think only 2 hit, and that's a situation. Well, yeah, only 2 hit, and that's a situation where really it might have been better to load AP on that FV4005. You know, to get a nice frontal lower glasses shot on an E100. You'll go through that fine, but again, hindsight is 2020, so it's hard to say. But overall, I think team efficiency are looking to, you know, kind of put themselves into the next gear after this one. They've got themselves ready. They've warmed up a little bit. They're looking pretty hot. They've got the speed up, motor's warm, and they're ready to roll into the next map.
Yeah, when all is said and done, it's a 1-1 there after Himmelsdorf. Now heading over onto Prokhorovka. EpicGear Prophet's pick. Some pretty standard tank lineups coming out. A couple of T110E5s there for EpicGear Prophet, which I'm sure you have something to say about.
Yes, well, I think I've said it enough tonight. I probably sound like a broken record by now. My dislike of the T110E5s, but team efficiency right there. I mean, they're going to be pretty standard picks as well on their side. I mean, nothing too crazy apart from the 3 heavies, well, the 4 heavies really, over on the EpicGear Prophet side. Of course, that 113, you know, technically speaking is a heavy, a Chinese tier 10 heavy, but really plays a lot like a medium overall. So, team efficiency, I think they should be able to take this one out 2-0 against EGP.
Thought we weren't going to do predictions anymore, Gogo.
You're not going to do predictions.
Am I not?
Because we're going to test, right? We're going to test whether, when we make a prediction and it's wrong, I've got a suspicion that it's Jordan. He jinxes it.
I see. Okay.
So if I make the prediction and it comes true, then that means that you never have to make any predictions again.
Sounds good. So, well, I'm not going to make a prediction, but what I will tell you is EpicGear Prophet haven't won a single round so far on Prokhorovka. Right. And it's actually a pretty good map for team efficiency. So take of that what you will. Okay. No prediction from me, though.
I will. I'll take of that what I will. But yeah, no. Thinking back, though, I've never seen EpicGear Prophet do particularly well on Prokhorovka here. They struggle with these open maps. I feel more, you know, they're slightly more familiar with maps like Ruinberg, just a little bit smaller, a little bit kind of fewer corridors and fewer areas to control, I guess. But let's wait and see. Right now, Team Efficiency are going to be rolling out towards the centre of the map. They've also sent Dexter way wide towards the city and more wide towards the west. So really spreading out early on, but EpicGear Profit looking to commit to a pretty nice two-flag defense, as Godtank has been spotted out there. But Jurdis in that RU-251 been spotted as well. Nothing too crazy coming out from either team yet. It's looking like Team Efficiency, if they wanted, they could just try for a bit of a trade-off here against EpicGear Profit.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think Team Efficiency at the moment, their best bet is probably just to jump onto that one cap. I mean, Jurdis is quite far forward, so we'll spot them out actually getting onto the cap. But again, whenever we see a team get on towards that one cap, it's always incredibly difficult to get the reset for the defensive team without taking a huge amount of damage. And given the positions that EpicGear Profit have found themselves in on that defensive side, you'd expect that, yeah, of course, trying to get back over those tracks, they're going to take a few shots.
Yeah, you'd definitely think so. But right now we are going to be seeing Team Efficiency getting a few shots on towards Godtank in that T110 E5. Nothing too major just yet, though. I'm really liking this from Team Efficiency, actually. They're looking for the little flanks. They've got Moore and Skell up there, scouting it out for their team, trying to spot if there's any kind of stragglers of EpicGear Profit, or maybe any of EpicGear Profit that are left kind of wandering around that one flag. They don't find any, though, which isn't the worst news. It means that they've still gathered information. They know there's no one from EpicGear Profit near there. And Team Efficiency can use that information as they want.
Team Efficiency very much aware that Tilla Dalby is hanging around up on that hill, and they've been blind firing up there. Only managed to hit a couple of shots onto him, but still already a slight advantage into this one for Efficiency. And on the attacking side of Prokhorovka, they not too bad, 60% win rate. Defensive side 67%, so pretty even across the board. But if they're able to pick up this attacking side, I'd be looking pretty happy about them to pick up the defensive side as well.
Yeah. I think so. That's a pretty safe assumption, I guess. But right now, Team Efficiency are just going to be rolling around the place, around the centre of the map, and getting spotted out a little bit. Look, they've got a lot of auto-loaders in their lineup. Team Efficiency 3, whereas EpicGear Profit only have that one bat chat. So really, this sort of an extended poke war doesn't, technically speaking, favour Team Efficiency. Particularly when you're poking those T110E5s. That's one of the few things that the tank is good for, is just poking over the hill or over a small hold-down hill like this, like Godtank and Karetny are doing. But Team Efficiency right now, it's looking like they're getting a little bit tired of that, a little bit bored of that, so they're going to be moving towards a one flag and potentially going for maybe putting their RU-251 on towards the cap. So.
Yeah, it does seem like Skell is headed in that direction. Hasn't yet been spotted, but there you go. Now is spotted out, and a couple of shots going across in his direction. Jurdis should have some pretty easy spots over to him, I think, from that angle.
I wonder if Jurdis has a camo net.
Well, he is sitting in a bush, isn't he? So it would have been pretty difficult for Skell to spot him there.
No, he doesn't have a camo net. Okay. Fair enough. But Skell is still spotted, so that's a little bit of an issue for him, I think.
Has now been unspotted, but it was pretty obvious, I think, there for EpicGear Profit where he's going to continue hiding, because if he moves out of that position, he's going to be spotted straight away by Jurdis. So Jurdis in that position, I really like that. Puts a bit of pressure on Efficiency on that cap, but now really the difficulty for EpicGear Profit is the exact situation that we spoke about, where they have to try and cross those tracks to get this reset. And really, you can already see Karetny has taken more than half of his HP and damage in doing so. Skell, unspotted at the moment, has eventually been spotted out there, but Karetny, he'll probably get this reset. No, he won't. He misses the shot, but he takes a shot to his own self in response. So it's been not a bad start here for Efficiency. Things still pretty even, though, so EpicGear Profit, they're still in this one.
Yeah, and Karetny gets a big shot across on towards Skell. And that's exactly what EpicGear Profit needed. And technically speaking, EpicGear Profit are neck and neck, pretty much, in terms of HP pools. Although, as I say that, Karetny takes another big shot. And it's only going to take one more for him to go down. Maybe even Skell could poke over and finish him off, but that might be a little bit dangerous for him. As we are going to be seeing Team Efficiency flank with Safi and Dexter towards the bottom of the map right there. This Bolognese ricocheting excellently. But Hot GP down the bottom is finding himself potentially in a little bit of trouble with two bat chats, or rather a bat chat. Yeah, two bat chats coming up towards him.
Still no kills yet going across to either of these teams, but you have to feel Team Efficiency should be getting one relatively shortly. Hot is in absolutely no position to really take on Dexter and Safi here, and he's just trying to get out of there and deal as much damage as he can in the meanwhile, but not going to work out for him. And now we have got the first kill of the game, and well, Skell is going to be joining that bat chat of EpicGear Prophet up in the whatever tank heaven they find themselves in, because he is going to be out of this round. And now it's back to a 6 versus 6.
There we go. So right now, EpicGear Prophet, we do see them with Angry Bee going down fairly fast. And Team Efficiency are kind of surrounding them at the moment. This isn't great for EpicGear Prophet unless they can catch out some members of Team Efficiency and take them down. But Moore gets helped by Party right there. Party coming in with the save on that Object 140. And now with 6 members of Team Efficiency alive, only 4 of Team EpicGear Prophet, 2 of them, 1 shell from death and 1 of them an RU-251. It's not looking good.
Definitely is not looking good. 2 versus 7. Really no hope for EpicGear Prophet to come out of this one. It's been a good, strong performance. 2 versus 6 even. But regardless, a very strong performance coming out from Efficiency here on the first half of Prokhorovka. Looking good on the attack here, and definitely don't seem to have been challenged at all there by EpicGear Prophet, which is really sort of what we expected coming out from Team Efficiency, really in general for this series, but definitely there on Prokhorovka is something that we look to see from them. And now, I mean, heading over to the defensive side, I'm sure they'll be feeling pretty comfortable to bring this one to a 2-0.
Yep, no, I think that's a pretty safe bet as well. EpicGear Prophet, they just didn't look super comfortable there. They started off okay. They started off kind of winning a few trades there with Team Efficiency, utilising their T110E5s, getting them in nice hold-down positions behind the rail track. So we had the rail track there. You know, the T110E5s were just poking their turrets over. So very hard, of course, particularly when you've got like a big train in front of them, to trade back in that regard. But obviously, like we saw, we had to have one of the T110E5s of EpicGear push over to get the reset onto the RU-251. He took a lot of damage, and from there, the EpicGear Prophet trade defense didn't kind of unfolded, I suppose.
Yeah, look, I mean, not a huge amount to say about that one. It was really a pretty good read from Team Efficiency to get right onto that 1 cap, but they just played it well and got the shots that they needed. This was a good pick, and it started off, I suppose, the rest of the match there for Efficiency. Once you get that early pick onto a bat chat, you're always going to have a massive advantage.
Exactly, and it was the pick onto the bat chat, but also the fact that where they got it, you know, it let those two flank all the way up to the center of the map and start shooting EpicGear Prophet from behind. So, you know, by this time, Dexter's behind Jurdis, Safi's at the side of God Tank, and, you know, they're lighting him up from every angle. So, Team Efficiency with nice mobile play. This is, again, the Team Efficiency that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they do tend to prefer a little bit more of those open maps. I think they rely quite heavily sometimes on the bat chats of their own. The likes of Safi and Dexter in particular in those bat chats seem to be 2 of the players that are really important for that Efficiency lineup. But I wonder how much damage they did throughout that one. Party actually coming up top, but Safi and Dexter, 2 and 3.
2 and 3. Can't complain about that, but and we have God Tank and Corretni, the top for EpicGear Prophet, and they were in the T110E5s, which is, you know, expected, I suppose. They did get a few good, nice pokes over the rail line with those American Tier 10 heavies. So, with the rest of TEGP not doing too flash, I don't think. Tilladelby down the bottom. Been having a few bad ones, Tilladelby, hasn't he? I think recently. Down on 0, so needs to up his game a little bit. But luckily, he's got a chance to do that in this next half of Prokhorovka. You know, it's one of the only maps in our competitive sort of map pool that is, well, named, I suppose, after a battle that happened.
Did you not know that?
There you go.
You've been reading that World of Tanks wiki a little bit?
I know that. Do you know the Battle of Prokhorovka?
No.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll save everyone the history lesson for now, because I think we have our tank lineups ready for the next half here on Prokhorovka. And it is going to be some pretty stock standard stuff, I think. Team Efficiency going to be going with that T110E5 on the defense. They've got the IS-7 as well. So a little bit of a couple of heavies in the mix, some bat chats and an STV1, nice medium tank and the RU251. EpicGear Profit going to be going with those two 215Bs, again an E5, and honestly a relatively similar lineup, but EGP just having less bat chat and an extra 215B.
So team efficiency to close this one out, still 2-0, yeah?
Yep.
Alrighty. Let's see whether or not you're right. Maybe that thought process behind me not predicting is going to be proving to be fruitful.
Yep.
Though we shall see.
We shall see, I guess. But overall, you know, there's only one thing that can make that come true, and that's team efficiency winning this next one. So let's wait and see where they roll out to. It's looking like now going to be heading out towards the center of the map, some of them, they're bat chats, but Team EpicGear Profit actually going to be meeting them in the center there. We might see a bit of a clash of the RU251s.
Well, maybe not quite, but really a lot of spots coming out, especially there for team efficiency. Not quite as many for EpicGear Profit, but I think pretty much everyone on the EpicGear lineup, apart from Hot GP, really gets spotted out there by the RU251 of team efficiency. So good scouting from Skell. And now we are going to see the first little bits of damage coming across. I do like where Moore and Dexter are, though.
Yeah, yep. Moore and Dexter sitting all the way out the side and just able to light up some of the members of Team EpicGear Profit. And Moore hasn't even been spotted out yet. Dexter might take 1 or 2 shells, but he should be fine after that. Yeah, just about 800 damage. So we do see EpicGear Profit going to be moving up towards team efficiency a little bit. Interesting that they're taking such an aggressive stance on their defensive side.
Yeah, I don't mind it though from efficiency. Like, I do enjoy seeing them play aggressively, so I don't think it's the worst of decisions, to be honest. And of course, coming off a pretty strong, convincing win last round where they were somewhat aggressive, can't really complain, I don't think, for efficiency there.
Yeah, I guess so. But right now, team efficiency are going to be actually spotting Jurdis. Jurdis is in a lot of trouble in that RU251.
Well, so is Skell. Moore as well, taking a lot of damage there for team efficiency. Moore takes another shot down by 1,200 or so off just that little bit of play, and he's on the reload here as well. Tilo Dalby is going to be getting lit up a little bit as well by the team efficiency members across the board. No kills just yet, though. Dexter is going to get one. Skell will go down in response, so a 1-for-1 at the moment. And it's both the RU251s out of the battle.
There we go. So right now we are going to be seeing team efficiency, well, not looking too good as EpicGear Profit are starting to dismantle them. Bolognese is 1 shell from death, and these FE215Bs, this is where they thrive in this sort of a brawling scenario out the hills where they can just empty their clip time after time, or empty their gun.
Yeah, and unfortunately here for team efficiency, Moore doesn't have that many shells to play with. Dexter on the reload at the moment as well, so there is going to be a lack of damage coming out, but still, they're managing to get the kills. It's the 3 versus 3, although Safi, he's probably found himself in a little bit of a less than ideal situation. He's going to have to try and drive out of here, but will be chased down by that Object 140. I think Dexter might be just about coming off the reload here. No, what? Oh, okay, so not sure what he's been doing all that time down in the bottom of the map, but certainly wasn't reloading, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, certainly not, as Safi there in that batch out is going to be going down. Only 2 tanks left for team efficiency. Dexter and Moore both still reloading, and Hot GP is actually spotted out though, so they might be able to get some good damage on towards him, and could definitely help them out as Dexter's just reloaded as well. But now that he's unspotted, it is not looking great for team efficiency.
Yeah, definitely not looking great here. So, I mean, it should be 2-2 after this round has ended. But Moore and Dexter, they've got themselves and 10 shells to say something to that statement. Whether or not it's going to be enough, I don't think it is.
Probably not, to be honest. Probably not, as Hot, he doesn't really want to peek over, but he's going to let his friends do the work there. He gets the first shell on towards Moore, and the ram slows him down a little bit, so that should be enough to take Moore down. Dexter trapped as well. There's nothing much he can do, and even though there's 6 minutes left on the clock, well, it doesn't matter, because EpicGear Profit even the score against team efficiency.
Prediction was wrong.
Okay, so that's the good news. We've established that you're not cursed,
Yay.
and that maybe I shouldn't make the prediction.
Maybe.
I
We'll
think
see
we'll
what
try that for the next map.
Okay.
But
Gee.
but stepping back a bit,
Yeah.
that didn't work at all for team efficiency.
Oh, that's
no.
a pretty fair statement.
Yeah, because Team EpicGear Profit, they did that. Honestly, it was a really nice push. Come to think of it, over the center of the map, and the issue for team efficiency then was that Team EpicGear Profit were all completely grouped up. So as soon as one member of Team Efficiency got lit up, and Team EpicGear Profit, they had those like FV215Bs, really good in those sorts of scenarios. We just need to be pumping out long range shots after shot after shot after shot. Well, that's why it worked for Team EpicGear Profit. They were able to group up, primary the right targets, get the damage on the field.
Definitely was a better performance there from EpicGear Profit on that half of Prokhorovka. We'll see how it all turned out. Efficiency with these two T1, the T110E5 rather, and the IS7, pretty meh, really.
Yeah, no, exactly. And
I really would like to know what Dexter's doing all the way down the south end of the map.
Maybe reloading on it.
Yeah, but he wasn't reloading, because when we saw him here, he's still reloading.
Yeah.
And he was down there for like a minute or minute and a half, so I'm not sure what he was doing. I didn't see any traces coming from that direction either, so riddle me that.
Yeah, I'm really not too sure, to be honest. I think. So, anyways, win some, you lose some, I guess. And Team Efficiency, they have lost that one out. So just a good strat coming in there from EpicGear Profit. And you know, EpicGear Profit, they're a good defensive team. There's no two ways about it. Like, for their level, I suppose they're so much more comfortable on defense than they are on offense, and it doesn't often translate into wins for them.
Yep.
But that's not to say that they can't play a good defensive map. But surprising in terms of the stats as well that they managed to take it off against Team Efficiency.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just how it turns out sometimes. Certainly has been that way this week, and Moore, again, doing pretty well with the bat chat, but not enough this time.
No, unfortunately not, as we did see the STB1 of Horang doing it 1927 damage, which was a fair amount. Safi in that bat chat dealing 1614 as well, so he did a little bit of damage. Oh, and look at that, T110E5s didn't do anything.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was legitimately waiting for you to say that. I knew it was going to come.
It's always going to come, but anyways, T110E5s, still not a big fan. Maybe they should have picked patterns.
Maybe they should have. But anyway, that's enough about Prokhorovka. Heading on to the third map here for EpicGear Profit. It is their pick. It's going to be Steps here. And to be honest, it's really not that good of a map for the guys on Team Efficiency.
Yeah, I just think about Team Efficiency. They don't to me seem like a great team for Steps. Like,
no.
It doesn't. Maybe on the attack, I think.
I mean, admittedly, it's a really bad map for EpicGear Profit, so I don't really know why they've picked it, because they haven't won a single round on it so far.
They haven't won many rounds at all, have they?
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's see how it turns out for them. The tank picks are in.
Well, looking at those tank picks, we've got Nardi. Yes, M40, M43. I love it.
Yep.
I'm not going to make a prediction though, Jordan, just to test out the curse theory. So, am I cursed?
Are you cursed?
What are you going to predict for Steps?
It is a tough one, because it's not a great map for efficiency here. I would say, look, I can't go past the fact that EpicGear Profit have lost 5 rounds and not won a single one. So I'm going to O for Team Efficiency, but I'm prepared to be wrong, as always.
Yeah, I think so. Overall, though, well, it's not a bad guess. I'm probably, well, I won't say what I'd go with to make sure that I don't jinx it. But I mean, look, Team Efficiency, they're not going to have an easy time winning here on Steps. I do really like the M40 pick, though.
Yeah.
Just touching a little bit more on that. It gives them an opportunity on the attack, like we've seen the Lorraine on the attack for, previous teams. That works pretty well. So right now, we are going to be seeing Team Efficiency roll out from the attack.
That they are. and waiting to see how well this M4043 is going to work. One of the few times that we've seen the M4043 pick, generally speaking, it's the Lorraine or some other tier 10 artillery for some reason, but teams tending not to favour the M4043 all that much. But when they have, it's had a pretty decent time of it. Like, it has a much better than 50% win rate. So,
well, it's a good
complain.
artillery piece. You know, you can get M40, M43 shot on towards honestly anything but the 113, and it is going to do so much damage.
Yeah.
On the EpicGear profit side. Yeah, you know, if it hits a batch out, if it hits a batch out AP, if it hits an object 140 in its kind of side of a hull armor or something like that, it is, you know, that shell is going to wreck. But JP Xerxes needs to make sure that he kind of moves and rotates with his team, which he is thankfully doing at the moment. And good to see that Team Efficiency are playing to the arty as well, because they've got more semi-scouting for him. You know, like the spotter that they used to have back in World War II. They used to have artillery spotter vehicles, spotted stuff for it. So
although sort of moving over towards that cap, and this is a fairly similar situation to what we saw yesterday between B-Gaming and EL, where both teams just rushed straight onto that 2 cap, and it worked out very well, in fact, for both those teams. Not sure how it's going to go here between EpicGear Profit and Efficiency. You'd have to say EpicGear Profit really in a position where they should be able to get a reset here quite easily, but remains to be seen if that's going to happen, because we said that exact same thing last time as well about EL Gaming and B Gaming. Now we are starting to see EpicGear Profit make their way in towards that cap circle. There's only 3 seconds left on this clock, and the reset does just come out in the end there. Thought he might have bounced a shot, but
8 seconds.
Doesn't manage to get that one. There's a shot onto Moore, but he's not one of the ones that's really got the cap timer under his belt. 5 seconds left to go here. Is the reset going to come out? Once again, it looks like we're going to be seeing another cap on steps with no reset. What is this week? Really?
So many resets. There's so many caps without resets. I
just don't understand what's going on.
So many. Well, quick game's a good game, as they say. So
well, yeah, sure.
There you go. Team Efficiency taking out the win. And I was honestly getting excited for the M40, M43. You know, I was hyped for that. I was hoping to see some big, you know, one-shot bat chats or something like that.
Nope.
With the M40.
Bad luck, mate.
Devastating. Oh, well. Team Efficiency won't be devastated because that was a pretty simple win for them. And, I mean, overall, like, with those matches, there's not too much to analyse. It's just the simple fact that Team EpicGear Profit, the one tank they pushed on towards the cap, you got one reset, but you've got 3 tanks, so you need a reset.
Yeah.
You know, and one reset doesn't cut it. It doesn't buy you enough time. You need to actually have someone there that can constantly get the resets happening, or at least reset every individual player. But they didn't, so...
Yeah, definitely not the greatest of situations there for EpicGear Profit. They found themselves just a bit out of position, and, well, it's the 3rd time this week that this particular cap has happened. Till Dalby, I mean, yeah, he did a good job of getting the reset, but you could tell trying to get one onto Bolognese as well. Didn't really manage to do that. And then a couple of those shots from Jerdis just went into Moore, and he was not one of the ones that had that cap timer going on him, really. Like, he was on the cap, but was never the one that was particularly capping from the start. So obviously his time bank, I suppose, if you want to call it that, pretty irrelevant for the reset there. And a good performance. Well, you can say a good performance, really, from Team Efficiency. They definitely won it quite convincingly, but perhaps a little bit lucky as well, just because EpicGear Profit decided to push over to the western side of the map as opposed to the eastern side. But, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, EpicGear Profit, I don't think they will have watched that B Gaming versus EL Gaming match yesterday, because if they were actually watching that, or if they watched the VOD for that, then there's no way that they would have let that happen.
Yeah. No, definitely not. But let's see how much damage was dealt. Not a lot is the answer, unsurprisingly. M4043 got one shot off.
Yeah. I mean, can't complain. One shot, 700 damage from Mr. JP Xerxes there. And, I mean, that's where as well the M40 can even get a shot off on towards whichever tank is, you know, trying to reset the cap. And in that respect, it makes it so much harder to live when you're trying to get the cap reset. So I don't know whether JP Xerxes actually did in that scenario or not, but definitely a valid strategy and a valid target for that artillery piece there. Alrighty,
well, for the EpicGear Profit guys, not a particularly great performance starting off there on steps. Hopefully for them, they're going to have a bit of a better time on the attacking side, though admittedly, they still haven't won a round on steps, so it's kind of hard for me to say that I think they can come back into this one. And I did predict that it was going to be a 2-0 for Team Efficiency, so yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. 2-0 for team efficiency. I mean, we'll wait and see, I guess. I would love to see some proper arty play coming out of team efficiency, though.
All right, well, let's see if that's going to happen. Doesn't look like there's going to be any RT this time.
Okay, so we've got a bit more of a standard tank setup for both of these teams, I guess. 3 bat chats on the team efficiency side, only 2 on EpicGear Profit side, and team efficiency there with those 2 Soviet mediums, the Object 140. And just scrolling through both of the lineups, look, it's a fairly standard lineup here for Seps for both teams. The IS-4 isn't something that we see too often,
No.
but I mean, it's versatile enough to be used, completely fine. Whether it's an IS-4, whether it's a FE215B, even a T110E5, like they all perform very similar roles here on Seps. It's just have a little bit more of an armored guy on the field. I guess.
Yep.
A little bit more armor.
Not a bad lineup there from a EpicGear Profit. Do you think the A cap or the B, 1 cap or 2 cap rather, going to be the option of choice?
Probably 1 cap. Let's see. Let's wait and see where Team EpicGear Profit go for. But yeah, I mean, just taking a look at their lineup, that IS-4 should be a little bit more at home. On the 1 cap, TVP as well, I guess, but we'll have to wait and see. Looks like they might be heading towards 2 cap actually, but Jurdis maybe heading towards the 1 flag.
Pretty aggressive push coming out here from efficiency. I mean, Skell, sure, he's over towards the 1 cap, has been tagged up a little bit, but the rest of team efficiency pushing quite far forward on that 2 cap. And, well, we're definitely going to be seeing no quick cap shenanigans over towards that 2 side of the map this time.
Yeah, no, it's looking like team efficiency are definitely not going to let the same thing happen to them. So we're not gonna see a repeat of the B Gaming EL Gaming steps half or halves, if you will. And team efficiency not actually getting the boost for anyone, I don't think. They have got one of their mediums up on one of the hills, but not actually boosted up there. I wonder if Skell might even be taking a run up to get up on the boost now.
Potentially.
It doesn't look like it actually.
Stopped.
But yeah, Dexter in that Object 140 was up there in a pretty good position to fend off attackers on towards that 2 flag. And Team EpicGear Profit right now, they are looking to make their way on towards the 2 flag pretty soon.
Just being a bit slow and steady at the moment here from EpicGear Profit, which is probably not the worst of decisions. Making sure that there was no one in that bush, just blind firing it, but really EpicGear Profit should know that none of them have been actually spotted, so he's sitting okay for the moment.
Yeah, not looking too bad. So we are going to be seeing team efficiency here. Just looking to hold this 2 flag and sit fairly well back. The Bat Chat 25T of Party. He's been doing a good job in the Bat Chats today. Of course, the Bat Chats being one of the most favoured tanks in our league, even though it only has a 50-ish% win rate after however many games. A little bit over 50 even, but certainly not overpowered by any stretch of the imagination. Just an overall very solid tank.
Yeah. Gives you a lot of options.
I mean,
you can brawl with it, you can outmaneuver your opponent with it. It's just all round a good tank.
You want to know a fun fact about the Bat Chat, Jordan?
Is it going to be that it's called 25T because it weighs 25 tons?
No.
Because that's not fun anymore. That was fun in week 1.
No, I said fun fact.
Okay.
Did you know that the crew of the Bat Chat 25 team, one of the reasons why the French didn't pick it in a contest to find a medium tank is because the crew was actually vulnerable to a gas attack because it wasn't like sealed properly.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
Yeah, there you go. Little fun fact. So if EpicGear Profit have some
gas,
some gas, if you could load artillery shells or SPGs with like a gas shell,
a gas bomb
in the game, then that'd be kind of cool, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, it'd be like laughing gas. You wouldn't want any of the banned stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it'd still knock them out, you know.
Well, I don't think we're going to be seeing that happening, if I'm honest.
Bit disappointing.
Artillery's already annoying enough as it is. They don't need laughing gas too.
So, right now, Dexter is still just going to be rocking back and forth, but I think the time has come for EpicGear Profits to go into their EpicGear, their 5th gear, Jordan, and go for the push.
Yeah, they are starting to make their way forwards and taking a little bit of damage as they do. And Bolognese now might be under a little bit of pressure. Does get one shot across. Is he even going to have time to reload here, though? And the answer is no, as he gets absolutely decimated there. But we are seeing trades come across. And at the moment, seems like Efficiency are getting a little bit more damage, but they might be losing a player very shortly. Safi, though, able to take down Tilla Dalby. And Party under a little bit of pressure as well. Very low on HP. Does go down there to Angry B. Now Safi coming in around from the back with the bat chat. He's backed up by Skell, but at the moment, it's very much looking like EpicGear Profit have a few more members in that spot. Still, though, Efficiency have the backup from the range. And Skell might be able to pick this one up. No, not quite getting the reload in time, but he's being ignored for the moment, and he's just behind God Tank, peppering little bits of shells into him. Dexter in the Object 140 coming across here is going to be able to take one down. No, it's JP Xerxes in the end. And 3 versus 2 after all of that. Looking like Team Efficiency should be able to 2-0 this one on step. So maybe, Alex, you are the one that is cursed.
Maybe, because it's looking like old Karetny there in the eyes for getting a nice, good couple of ricochets on towards the turret from the looks of things. But it is seeming like I am potentially the cursed one here. Alternately, I don't know. Well, we'll have to test it out in the next one. But Team Efficiency should be able to take this one out overall, and just a really solid defense of that push there. They were ready for the push. Everyone from Team Efficiency was in a great position. They used the mobility of their tanks to kind of duck around. They traded fire pretty well, and EpicGear Profit unfortunately just weren't able to make enough shots connect, I guess.
Was just about to come off the reload there. Probably sacrificed a bit of HP, but I think he's probably going to be able to take down Karetny before Karetny can actually get a shot across to him. So we'll see what happens here. In the end, it is going to be Team Efficiency picking it up. 4-2 now, the advantage, and this is a little bit more of a scoreline that we sort of expected to see coming out here for Efficiency, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. It's no surprises, and to be honest, I didn't technically call 5-1 EpicGear Profit in my original prediction. So if we did end up seeing a 5-2, it wouldn't be super surprising. It wouldn't be, you know, astronomical. But look, Team Efficiency, they're starting to look good now.
Yep.
They're on Steps. You know, Steps obviously a map which, like we've said, not the best for Team EpicGear Profit.
No.
And like that little push that they did there was, I don't think it was one particular thing that went wrong with it.
Yeah, they just pretty much got out-traded, really. Out-aimed.
Got out-traded, out-aimed. But I suppose we'll find out in the replays of that one to see what went wrong for Team EpicGear Profit. And, okay, so this is the first push. Let's see. So they actually got the first tank down. Hot GP in the Object 140 was the next one to get eliminated. And look at the focus fire. The focus fire went right back onto Tilla Dalby. That was another bat chat down. And already EpicGear Profit was splitting their focus fire a little bit between Party and Moore. So not a great one.
Yeah, and then Jurtis goes down pretty much straight away as well.
Yeah.
And another bat chat. So they're really, from Team Efficiency,
focus fire.
Pretty good focus fire. Would have liked to see the TVP go down a little bit faster, but again, when you're getting 2 bat chats out, I mean, you can't complain at all. Yeah, really good coming out there from Efficiency. The focus fire, very good. The brawling, well, it wasn't really a brawl, but the battling, the fighting, and the focus firing was good.
The fightings, yep.
The fightings, indeed.
But overall Team Efficiency, look, they're moving on towards the next game, which could be the last game of the series here. I think they've got enough momentum to carry it out. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised to see them picking this one up. It's going to be Ruinberg.
Yeah, but just quickly, again, you said that you mentioned that Team EpicGear Profit did have that TVP alive until the last minute, which typically, is not a great idea to keep a TVP alive until the last minute, because it can put out so much damage with that auto loader. Of course, the TVP, the Czechoslovakian Tier 10 medium tank, but I would be interested to see actually how much damage that TVP ended up doing.
Yeah.
In the end there, because it was alive for so long, and you really want to be seeing in that case the TVP at the top of the board, but it was actually only on 5th.
Well, it was the top of the board for for EpicGear Profit, I guess.
Apart from the IS-4.
Apart from the IS-4, yeah, but
you'd probably want to be seeing a little bit more. And 14 shots from a TVP, you probably want to be hitting a few more on that regard, because that's not a brilliant penetration rate. Need to make every single one of those count if you can. But correctly in the IS-4, props to him. He stayed alive the longest and therefore dealt the most damage. Simple as that. And Skell in the RU-251 dealing more damage than both of those tier 9 bat chats. But again, Jurtis and Tilladelby there, they just got primaried out. Team efficiency said, okay, we don't want these guys on the field. You know, they're little things. They don't have much health, but they can really sting. So let's take them off. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, not a bad decision really there for efficiency. I mean, we do obviously always see the Batchat 25T APs doing quite a considerable amount of damage. So yeah, good job from them to focus those down. But now heading over to Ruinberg is our final map, or potentially final map here. It's probably efficiency's best map in all honesty. Like, they've only lost one round on it so far, and it's incidentally also probably EpicGear Profit's best map, but it just seems like Team Efficiency going to be leagues ahead of EpicGear Profit here on Ruinberg. So I'd be looking towards a 2-0, which would in theory just be a 1-0, really.
You reckon? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to make a prediction. In staying with our our kind of curse, kind of narrative there, maybe we'll be seeing it. Who knows? But let's take a look at the tank picks. Either way, we are going to be seeing some pretty standard tank picks for this half on Ruinberg, with Team Efficiency going with a couple of AMX 50Bs and then just lots of bad chats. So lots of full auto loaders on the Team Efficiency side, and only one auto loader for EpicGear Profit. So EGP got to be pretty careful in this one with only the one auto loader. We have to, they don't really want to get into an all-out brawl, because I don't think that would work out too well for them.
No, I do like this lineup coming out from Efficiency. It's going to be a lot of damage coming out onto EpicGear Profit. So as you mentioned, EpicGear Profit will need to be pretty careful in this one. Yeah, I don't really see this one going the way of EGP. Just Efficiency looks so good on Ruinberg. They're probably the best team on Ruinberg in the competition.
You reckon?
I mean, statistically speaking, they are. Yes, for sure. So take it about what you will.
It's interesting because they've, like, I know statistically, but they've never really struck me as a team that's like been amazing on Ruinberg. But I guess the stats don't lie. So
89% win rate after 9 games, if anyone was wondering.
There you go. Can't argue with that, I guess. So.
And they've also picked it 4 times. So they definitely like to get themselves onto Ruinberg. But starting off here on the attacking side, they haven't lost on the attacking side so far. And they'll definitely be hoping not to repeat that, or to change that, I suppose.
Yes, so right now, you're going to be seeing, oh no, Jurtis has actually been caught out already a little bit and is starting to take some damage. Well, Moore actually takes the first shot of damage.
And loses his driver as well, so
yeah,
that's less than ideal.
It's not great.
Does seem like this is maybe a bit of a fake coming out from Efficiency onto that 2-cap, trying to draw some rotates for the rest of Efficiency to drive up onto that 1-cap and get themselves a bit of an easy positioning, but I don't think it's really been sold all that well.
No.
You can see a couple of rotations have started to pull across, but the majority of EpicGear Profit still can fire in towards that 1-cap, and really even the rotations that have been sent here, those 2 heavy tanks down towards the E6 area, are very easily going to be able to rotate back up to the 1-cap as well, like quite quickly. And now, Efficiency moving forward now onto that 1-cap, they'll be spotted out. They're taking this a little bit too early. There's still a couple of members of EpicGear Profit over towards that 1-cap, so it's not a great start here for Efficiency, but splitting the defense maybe going to work out in their favor. We'll see how it works out. Horang under a lot of pressure here, but 3 shots missing from those 3 bad chats. They've got a couple of shots left in the bank. Now it's all down to the IS-4. Safi going to go aggressively around the corner, does eventually take down Horang, but I think he might be losing his life for it. The IS-4 should be able to take him down, but no, actually decides to fire a shot into Dexter. Safi, he probably would have survived. He has 426 HP.
That IS-4 is doing a mammoth job of ricocheting those shots right there. Those bat chats just could not get through the armor. I think there was at least 3 shots that ricocheted off there. And Bolognese, he's trying to pressure the IS-4. He's pretending that he has shells, but he does not. And I think he should be going down without getting another reload.
Well, potentially.
no.
He's got the reload off here, and he's got a little bit of time, maybe enough time to get 2 shots off before IS4 gets the reload, but no. He'll play the safety game, and now is when these two bat chats really have to... There we go, exactly. They had to do just that, and it might not be enough to swing things back in their favor, but certainly a better situation than what it could have been. JP Xerxes still on the reload here, Party on the reload as well, so has been a bit of a slower passage of play the last 30 seconds or so here for Team Efficiency. And I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of the strategy that they've employed here by sending 2 over to the 2 cap and trying to get the rest up onto the 1 cap. Just definitely hasn't worked out too well. But having both those AMX 50Bs up on pretty healthy amounts of HP, there's still an opportunity for Efficiency to come back into this one, though it's going to be incredibly difficult.
It's going to be very hard for Team Efficiency to come back in towards this one. But look, they do have burst damage on their side. In saying that, oh no, EpicGear Profit have just taken down last bat chat of Team Efficiency, so it is a 2-on-4, and now the danger is if Team Efficiency let EpicGear Profit kind of maneuver all of their tanks to get ready for a pincer movement on towards the last 2 remaining tanks of Team Efficiency, then if you let the enemy team dictate positioning in a 2v4, then you're always going to lose it. So it's a good move here that Team Efficiency are rotating back towards their spawn and going to try and get the reset happening there. Reset the positions, reset the spots, etc., and go back out. Hopefully without getting spotted by Tiladelby, but oh no, Party has been spotted.
Well, in fact, both have been spotted there, and Party takes a bit of damage, doesn't manage to do any in return there. And really, it is tough to, I guess, dictate the play when you're in a 2v4 situation, but Team Efficiency here just hoping maybe someone from EpicGear Profit is going to push into them and make that mistake. Highly unlikely that we're going to be seeing EpicGear Profit do that. So, a little surprising to see that it's turned out this way for Efficiency, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's not great. It's, Team Efficiency right now, at least the one thing they do have on their side is time. Because they went fairly early on towards that 1 flag. We've still got 5.5 minutes left before we time out. So they've definitely got the option to play it a little bit cautious here, which is exactly what they're doing, checking every corner. And they just have to find the gap, find the opening. If they can get behind...
Yep. They need to find a 1v2 where they take maybe 1 shot in exchange for taking out a tank. And I mean, in all honesty, they could take down Hot Hot before he gets a shot across to them if they catch him off guard, maybe. That's probably the best case scenario.
Yep. I think so. And both Party and JP Xerxes moving all the way up to the K0 area of the map. And looks like they will be heading there.
They've been spotted.
And be spotted.
JP Xerxes at least has been.
Yep,
Party
both
also has been spotted. So another little bit of free damage bleeding over to the AMX 50Bs here. He's not able to respond with another shot across of his own. Finally, one manages to land right into Angry B there. And a couple actually go over. But again, is it going to be enough here? They probably didn't even really win that trade. I think they might have done a little bit more damage than they took, but in reality, it was never going to be enough. And this reload, they'll probably just get it off in time, maybe.
Maybe. Well, Party might not.
Party might not indeed. The RU251 really kicking into gear now, starting to move in quite quickly. Tiladelby hasn't managed to land a shot just yet, but certainly things looking pretty grim here for Party as he gets the reload off. And RU251 is going to go down. JP Xerxes and Party are going to try and take out Tiladelby, but Tiladelby is going to get a... No, he's not going to get a reload off. It was actually Hot Hot. And now a 1v2 here for JP Xerxes to negotiate, and really not going to happen. EGP put it to 3.
EGP put it to 3.
Indeed.
Right, I love it.
Didn't mean to, but sometimes these things happen. Anyway, Efficiency. Yeah, how did you feel about that strategy, just putting 2 onto the 2 cap and having everyone else head to the 1 cap?
Ooh, like, I mean, the issue, they had a few issues there, Team Efficiency, right? Like, when they pushed on towards the 1 cap, obviously that push was never going to stick because EpicGear Profit had enough members around the flag to just get the reset. So the resets wasn't the problem, and Efficiency needed to effectively win a battle up there. But by putting 2 people on the 2 cap, obviously that meant that they were 2 under-tanked, 2 less tanks on the 1 flag attack.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the damage that they needed to take down some of those tanks. And like the tanks like the IS-4 of Team EpicGear Profit didn't go down to 3 bat chats. The 3 bat chats only had 3 or 4 bat chats even, and they only had 2 tanks to take out. They took out 1, and they ricocheted like 4 shots off the IS-4. If they'd have had at least one of those other bat chats in there from the 2 flag, then they could have taken them out, gun out of the game.
Yeah.
You know? And that could have really turned things.
It definitely did seem like the guys from Team Efficiency might have just gone in a little bit too early as well. Like, there were rotates going across from EpicGear Profit, but Efficiency just went in and was spotted out straight away. So EpicGear Profit were like, oh, actually, the fight's going to be over here towards the 1 cap. Let's stay here. And if they had waited maybe a little bit longer, they might have had a bit of a better chance, Efficiency. But regardless, didn't go their way. Still, they have another half here to be able to try and close things out before that tiebreaker.
And, well, they managed to get down to Philadelphia, which is pretty okay, but a little bit too little, too late, unfortunately, for Team Efficiency at that point. So, Ruinberg, the map which Team Efficiency has
now lost 2 rounds on.
Now lost 2 rounds on.
And moving over to the defensive side, again, they have a pretty good win-loss ratio on it, 4-1. So, feeling pretty comfortable that they should be able to close this out on the defensive side, but, you know, stranger things have happened.
You were feeling pretty comfortable before as well, Jordan. So I'm not too sure what to think. But I think the good news is we've established that neither of us are in fact cursed when we make predictions. Sometimes,
or maybe we're both cursed.
Sometimes these teams do just pull off some crazy strats, and we get some crazy unexpected results as well. So I don't feel so bad now. But I mean, coming in towards this one, predicting a 5-0 and a 5-1. You know, like, it's crazy to think that everything this weekend that we've said has just been completely out of the ballpark.
Yeah, and I thought we were doing pretty well throughout the first 4 weeks. We were right. But this week has just been, well, nothing like that. Anyway, AMX50 will be up the top of the scoreboard there. JP Xerxes, yeah, no surprises. Again, we see a 25T AP coming in number 7. Pretty decent result.
Yeah, can't complain about that. That 25T AP always does a bit of work there, Mr. Skell. And more down the bottom there in his AP. He's not going to be too happy with 0 damage, I don't think. But Jerdis actually doing a bit of work in that AU251 with 1557 damage. So really letting him survive was not a great idea for Team Efficiency.
Nope.
He was able to really pump out the deeps, the damage. So I think moving on towards this next half of Ruinberg, I mean, like, EGP, they're still bad at attack, right? I feel as though, again, they won the defense. And the EpicGear Profit winning the defense, to me, is like, okay, that's fair enough. But on the attack, I'm really struggling to see how they're going to be able to take it out.
All right, well, before I give you my prediction, we'll have a look first at the tank lineups. See if anything's going to be coming out here out of the blue. But no, pretty standard stuff. So, yes, I agree. It is hard to go past Efficiency here on the defensive side. I'm calling them to pick it up 5-3.
Okie dokie. Well, call it. And I wonder if we're going to see another tiebreaker.
Yeah, it would be the 5th one this weekend.
We've had a lot of tanks this weekend. It's been pretty amazing.
It's probably been more tanks yesterday than we had in the 2 days of the weekend prior, but oh well.
Yeah, well, awesome tanks. Awesome tanks yesterday. The full WGL APAC experience, I think, it was cool, which is, I mean, we may get that again tonight. We've already had one pretty intense match, so why not another, I guess? Well,
this is already pretty close. I mean, admittedly, considering Team Efficiency came into this one with a more of a favourite sort of a situation. Perhaps not as big of a favourite as Meltdown would have been over Twist. But, yeah, again, Efficiency really should have been able to pick this one up pretty easily, I would have said. So, just comes down to how well EpicGear Profit are playing here. And obviously coming up next, EL and Karen Tiger. Comes down to which EL shows up today, I think.
Yep.
But getting ahead of ourselves. Now heading into this one. It's the 8th round of this one. And obviously if EpicGear Profit pick this one up, they take it into the tiebreaker.
Okay, so let's wait and see. EpicGear Profit already actually giving away one shot on towards Jurdis. Team Efficiency getting some good shots on towards them as they kind of get spotted out. This almost seems a little bit reckless, a little bit careless by Team EpicGear Profit here because they're getting absolutely nothing in return.
Yep. Safi's going to be really happy with that. He pops a couple of quick shells into Jurdis and takes no damage in response. Though he does need to be careful. He's completely spotted at the moment, so just needs to move back out of there.
Yeah, so right now we are going to be seeing Team Efficiency clamp down on towards the 2 flag and head down there with a few more of their tanks that were previously on the 1 flag but now are not. And EpicGear Profit, still some of them sitting in the city. They might be rotating up towards the 1 flag.
Yeah, potentially. Skell will be able to spot them out. They're already actually spotted out, so... yeah, but Skell's going to cross here. He'll take a couple of shots, which is fair enough, I suppose. Safi starting off there onto Tilla Dalby, but now Moore taking a little bit of damage. He's going to be okay, though. Going to be on the reload still. Both the AMX 50Bs here for Team Efficiency now on the reload, and the bad chat from Safi. So they do have a bit of a damage loss for the next 30 seconds or so.
Okay.
And over towards that 1 cap, Skell is under a very large amount of pressure. He's going to go down. It's a 1-for-1 at the moment, though a tier 9 for a tier 10 still, favouring Team Efficiency. There's another kill going in their favour as well. Bolognese picking up a Batchat 25T AP.
It's right now. We are going to be seeing EpicGear Profit. They're starting to fall down a little bit. JP Xerxes has to be a little bit careful because there are 2... Oh, no. Thought it was JP Xerxes that had to be careful there, but no. He's going to be fine. In fact, Team Efficiency, though, they do need to get this base reset on 16 seconds left. They're going to be rotating all of their tanks up here, and as long as they get this reset, it should be smooth sailing because it is 6 members left to Team Efficiency, only 4 in EGP.
Yeah, well, you say that, and the resets do come out. The AMX 50B is a party, and Moore doing a bit of damage there, but Moore is going to go down, and still 8 seconds left on the cap here. Party's got plenty of shots to play with, but he's missed that one. He's going to have another chance here. Only 2 seconds left on this cap. And is this actually going to happen?
Oh.
I just don't know what to say anymore, Alex. I'm just like,
Oh.
what do you do?
You've got one job. You professional World of Tanks players or semi-professional World of Tanks players, you've just got to get to the cap and aim your gun in and shoot one of them. Like...
I'm lost. I'm really lost. Anyway.
I'm lost as well. Anyways, the good news is we're going to a tiebreaker now, so we get some more...
Another tiebreaker.
World of Tanks
It's going to be Prokhorovka as our tiebreaker, Matt. We've already seen it once coming out today.
I like the fact that we've got Proc as the tiebreaker.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get too far into that, let's go back and have a look at the replay, though, of that one. And, well, Team Efficiency going to be kicking themselves a little bit. They had a really good opportunity of being able to pick this one up, but once again, that cap reigning supreme this week. It's the 4th time or the 5th time that we've seen a cap out like that. I think it's the 5th, actually.
The 5th, there you go.
5 times this week. Ah, well.
It's certainly been a lot. There's no doubt about it. So, right now, I think...
Oh, they were unspotted, so that's why.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize they weren't spotted.
Yeah.
Until I look at the replay here.
I didn't realise either. It was only until Dexter got the proxy spot. So honestly, if you're EpicGear Profit, you're gonna be so happy about that. Like, oh my goodness, like that should never happen on Rurenberg. The fact that you don't get spotted and you get the sneaky cap, just as one of them gets the spot on towards you.
Yeah. Well, that's just how it went there for Efficiency, and again, EpicGear Profit going to be coming up with a pretty surprising victory, 2-0. On Rurenberg, when really Efficiency have only lost it once before now against better opponents than EpicGear Profit.
Yeah.
Still, it's been just the story of this week. Everything's just been turned on its head.
Honestly, after the end of this week, I'm like...
we might as well just stop doing prep for this and just come in and cast, because like everything that we've thought was going to happen has just not happened at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just take Friday off stay at home, and
Yep.
and stop even researching these teams because it's
Just play some tanks.
it's irrelevant right now. Really,
yeah,
it really is. And yeah, play
pretty
some
much.
tanks.
Play some tanks.
Yeah,
Have a nice chill Friday. That sounds good, actually. I should do that.
I will.
Well, but I think next week surely we'll have things return to normal. But either way, right now it's time to get this next bit of the abnormality underway. I think here on Prokhorovka, I'd love to see an artillery piece picked, but we probably won't, given the team's earlier picks on this map. It's probably going to be seeing some more standard stuff. And that's the only real disappointing thing I suppose, about EpicGear Profit's picks is that, well, they haven't picked anything too crazy.
Well, it's not quite time to get underway with Prokhorovka just yet. First, let's have a look at the post-battle stats there. Angry B in the T125, up in number 1 spot, Alex. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I like it. I like it a lot because, well, we don't get to often see it, so it's a bit of a treat.
Fair enough.
It's a bit of a treat seeing it up there. And I think the FV215Bs, no surprises to see them up the top there. And the 113s, of course, 113, it's fast. It's got good armor. It's got good all-round DPM. It's just a very solid tank. So no surprises to see lots of those on the scoreboard as well. But 4 apiece.
All right. Let's put Ruenberg out of our minds now, Alex. It all comes down to this one. Prokhorovka, I would have to assume efficiency have the faster round because of that cap on steps. So they would be getting to pick the side.
Yeah, it would be the cap on steps, wouldn't it? That was a faster side.
Yep.
I think so. If you're team efficiency, Jordan, which side do you pick on Proc?
Well, they won the attacking side, but Prokhorovka leans towards the defending side. I'm not so sure. It's anything I say here is probably going to be wrong. So I don't even want to say which one they should pick. I'd probably be leaning towards the attacking side just because they looked pretty good on it. They didn't look all that impressive on the defending side though.
No,
so.
they looked pretty meh on the defensive side, to be quite honest. So I would think so. The attacking side would be a good choice from them. So we'll have to wait and see. But for now, they're going to have to be thinking about what tanks they're going to pick, whether they do go with the same lineup if they go for attack, because obviously it worked for them.
Yeah.
Are they going to try and improve it, or just say, why fix it if it's not broken? I guess we'll find out.
It's hard to say. And this is going to be the 5th tiebreaker from this week here. I mean,
5th.
We're certainly getting really, really deep into a lot of these series this week, and
I mean, the competition's heating up, and
it is.
It's great to see because we picked this map to be going, or this series rather, to be going well in the favour of team efficiency, because to date, Team EpicGear Profit have really struggled to adapt to the fast play style, to the aggressive play style, to the playmaking, action-oriented play style of the APAC region, the new meta of the APAC region, if you will.
Yeah.
But they've been doing pretty good.
Well, I'm told it's actually the 6th tiebreaker of this week because we had one on Friday, which we didn't broadcast. But the information I do have for you is that it was 2 minutes and 15 seconds for the cap on steps, and the guys from Efficiency have decided to go for the defensive side here on Prokhorovka.
The defensive side. Okay, interesting. Interesting to see them on the defense, I guess. But, I mean, they've sort of seen one of EpicGear Profit's strategies on the attack,
Yep.
I guess. So maybe they feel better, that they can better deal with it now. Whether they go with any different tanks, whether we do see something like a artillery picked here from Team Efficiency, they could go for, I mean, again, they picked the M40 on steps, whether they go for the M40 or the Lorraine. It's always an option, I think, on Prokhorovka, on the defense particularly, but probably going to be expecting some more of the standard bat chats, the Object 140s, maybe an STB1 thrown in the mix as well. Just those standard medium tanks, maybe a few 113s, because you can't really go wrong with 113s. It's just kind of like a bigger, solid tank, jack of all trades, if you will. But I would love to see T57s, but we won't see them. I can almost guarantee that.
Almost. Well, who knows what's going to come out here? It's going to be an interesting matchup again here on Prokhorovka. It did go 1-1 during the regular time of Prokhorovka, and Team Efficiency have decided to pick the side which they lost on. I mean, traditionally, the defensive side for Prokhorovka is a little bit favoured, and it has been a little bit of a better side, actually, for Efficiency on Prokhorovka. So maybe a correct decision from them. We'll find out very shortly, as we're now getting underway with our final match, final series, round even, of this series. Yep. And really some pretty standard picks coming out. Although, EpicGear Profit with 2 TVPs and 2 STBs, it's not something we see all the time.
Yeah, it's not actually. So you get those 2 TVPs in the mix. That's a little bit worrying for Team EpicGear Profit because, I mean, I like 1 TVP, 2 is pushing it a little bit fine. They're very fragile, very flimsy tanks, and they need to get a good 2 reloads off before they kind of can take a tank down and really, really come into play effectively. But it's that T1 10E5, that also makes me think that Team Efficiency should be able to take this one out.
So Efficiency to win it?
Efficiency to win it. And you?
Efficiency to win it.
Efficiency to win it.
So it's going to be EpicGear Profit, guys. You just heard it here first.
Okay, yeah, EpicGear Profit should win. So congratulations.
We might as well just pack up and go.
EpicGear Profit for winning this series 5-4. Look, I think we didn't expect them to win it 5-4, and they've really come out of the blue here. I wouldn't have called it before. So
okay.
Congrats to EpicGear Profit. We're probably confusing people. If
yeah, people just literally just started watching and they're like, oh, EpicGear Profit. Wow.
Oh, wow.
No, they actually haven't won. Team Efficiency and EpicGear Profit at the moment heading to the tiebreaker, which is going to be on Prokhorovka. And really, it's a hard call to say. 50-50.
50-50?
Maybe not 50-50. I'd say 60-40 to Team Efficiency, but really...
Because their defensive win rate is 60%.
Is it 60%?
67%. I think so.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Anyways. But it's good to have these stats because we can see each week which ones are wrong. So,
yeah. Well, this week pretty much everything's been wrong. We've already had to tear up the stats last week.
Yeah.
Might be about time to be doing that again this week.
Oh, it's tempting. It's very tempting. I should give that at least another week before I tear up your stats again, Jordan.
Well, you've got a stats page that you can tear up now as well. We've got 2 stats pages.
Got lots of pages that I can tear up now, but I just because I can doesn't mean I will tear them up. And we've got to save that once every 2 weeks. Otherwise, I'm sure you'll get very hurt.
Yeah, a little bit. Put lots of effort into the stats, and this week they've let me down. Just, again, might as well just throw out everything.
I think, though, to be fair, our tank stats, our tank win rate stats have been
pretty good. They're pretty on the money.
Yeah. We've seen some E5s win, though, which is disgusting.
Maybe for you.
E5. Anyways.
We've got a T1 10E5 coming out here on Prokhorovka, though, don't we? So, yeah, well, it's on EpicGear Profit, isn't it?
Yep.
So... maybe our predictions will be right. I don't know.
Maybe, pigs can fly. Maybe we might see a pig just flying by the window outside as if EpicGear Profit lose this. Who knows? Anyways, it's time to get into the action here on Prokhorovka. Team Efficiency up against EpicGear Profits. Let's roll, Jordan.
Let us roll, indeed. They can't really manage to make this any longer than they have, but Team Efficiency definitely should be favoured into this one, you would expect. Let's see how they go about it here on Prokhorovka. I really hope, for Team Efficiency's sake, they're able to pick this one up, and for my sake, because I've said they would win it, and I want to get something right this week.
Oh, you do, don't you? You don't get much right, do you, Jordan?
No, apparently not.
Bit of a problem, but anyways, Team EpicGear Profit here. They're going to be pushing up towards the center of the map with their lineups. Team Efficiency sending 2 to 3 tanks up on towards the hill from the looks of things. So really changing things up from their defensive side. And they've got, oh no, Skell spotted out.
Yeah, he's been under a lot of pressure here. The STB1 is going to be able to pick up that kill. So great start here for Team EpicGear Profit as the scout for Efficiency going down. And that STB1 really showing why it's a good pick here on Prokhorovka. Just peeking a little bit over that hill with that great gun depression of his. And then also I think the TVP managed to get one shot into the RU-251 as well. But it's been a good start, really, from EpicGear Profit.
Yeah, great start, actually, from EGP taking out Mr. Skell. And I think Jerdis there. in that AE251, he's in a pretty good spot to get some spots across as well. I think he's spotted out JP Xerxes, and JP Xerxes obviously does not know where he's getting spotted from. There's no way that you can blind fire all of these bushes on that row. So Jerdis doing a great job of that. He's got those binocs as well, so should have max view range for anyone of team efficiency that comes over those rail tracks. And TE, I mean, look, the hill is a good spot to take when we might be seeing a 2-flag push, but it just doesn't look like EpicGear Profit are going to be going for that 2-flag push right now. It's looking like they're really focused on towards that 1 flag. And Horang's actually going to be trying to get some snipes onto JP Xerxes.
Yeah, he's not in a bad spot. He's very far away, so it's going to be almost impossible for anyone to actually spot him up here, even if he's firing out of cover.
Yeah, but it's looking like... No, it's looking like he's not going to be getting those shots.
He's sort of like moonwalking.
Yeah.
It looks like it anyway.
Moon tanking. I like it. It's right now. Oh, the STB1 of Party's actually spotted out, and Horang might be able to potentially get some good shots there if he has the angle, which he doesn't because Party's just ducked back. So that's not going to be happening. But overall, I mean, team efficiency, they don't really need to push in towards EpicGear Profit just yet because obviously EpicGear Profit haven't started the cap. So until EpicGear Profit do actually start the cap, then TE, again, they're not actually under that much pressure.
No, not really. Though, I mean, to be fair, they've already lost a tank here. So EpicGear Profit, they just want to play slow and really make use of that advantage that they've given themselves. They don't want to throw that away. So I don't mind this from EpicGear Profit. I can see the sense in playing slowly. And I mean, they've only used up really 3 minutes. So it's not like we're even halfway into the map here yet.
Yeah, I guess not. So right now, JP Xerxes in that IS-7 is going to take some shots. And should be okay. Should be okay. That one. But EpicGear, like they do have some pretty good positioning to defend this 1 flag with. They've got lots of tanks out in the middle here, so it's going to be very, very hard for team efficiency to push over the rail tracks in that central area because they're just going to get lit up by EpicGear Profit, which is exactly what Bolognese has just had placed on towards him. 1,000 damage, just getting completely blown up. And that T110E5 is not looking too smug now.
No, definitely not. It's a really pretty deep hole that efficiency have found themselves in. They're about 2,000 HP down, a little bit more maybe, and also they're a tank down here. So for them to come back into this one here in this tiebreaker is going to be a bit of a superhuman effort. They'll have to pull off something special.
Yep, it's going to be pretty tricky for them. As right now we are going to be seeing EpicGear Profit moving up towards this 1 flag, and Tilla Dalby actually getting lit up a little bit by Party, but not too much. And they should be able to get themselves on towards this 1 flag, start the cap. Alternately, it's looking like Team EpicGear Profit may even want to just go for the kill here onto JP Xerxes.
Yeah, not so sure about this decision. There's a couple of team efficiency members that can definitely punish something like this. And Hot GP, he's taken a lot of damage. They do get the trade there onto the IS-7, which I guess favors them considering they had that tank advantage already. But now they're just going to continue this push. The STB1 there of Tilla going relatively low, but yeah, they do okay. They get the tank, they get the positioning as well, and now they're pushing right onto Dexter here, who's taken a little bit of damage, but Tilla and that STB1 gets taken down, and well, EpicGear Profit wasn't the best of pushes coming out from them. Now we're back to even sort of a tank situation. Having said that though, efficiency definitely lacking in that HP department, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a touch right there. As team efficiency now have Jerdis to deal with on this cap. He's started the cap happening, and Horang as well in that TVP. He's going to be punishing any team efficiency member that pokes over there, but he shouldn't poke over himself because there's a lot of guns trained. He doesn't need to, as he is on the right side of the rail tracks. Proxy spots Party as well as Dexter. So right now, EpicGear Profit, they're looking in control.
Yes.
They've got 80 seconds left on the cap. They've got the centre entrance of the rail tracks covered. They've got the bottom entrance of the rail tracks covered. It's going to be hard for team. Oh no, they shouldn't do that.
No, there's no need for Horang to actually try and push over that little mound. All he has to do is hold. There's no need to peek. They've already got the HP advantage. They've got the tank advantage. He doesn't need to do anything risky here. And that might have just given Efficiency a bit of an opening and more flying over there. We did say it was going to take a superhuman effort, and he's done a bit of a Superman impression, trying to get over those tracks. And, well, secures a tank advantage there for Team Efficiency. He takes a lot of damage in doing so.
Reset.
But, in theory, it's worth. And the reset comes out. What's come on? What's just happened? Team Efficiency have come back and turned this into a 5v3. Admittedly, 3 of their tanks are extremely low. Dexter as well, very low. So Safi, the only one with any HP to speak about. But Party, he's just...
How is he alive?
He's still
How is he alive? Party, please.
He needs to get back to safety here. And because if he can get back, there's only 2 minutes and 44 seconds here. EpicGear Profit, they need to really push things now. And yes, they have the HP advantage, but they're going to have to push over the tracks now, really, because... capping is almost out of the question. A reset should be relatively easy for Team Efficiency to secure with Safi if they need to. And suddenly, I'd say things have swung back in the favor of Efficiency.
Yeah, it's looking good for Team Efficiency right there. And, well, I think EpicGear Profit, they're not really looking... I don't know. Can they, like, they've got the HP, but they don't have the tanks. It's a 3-on-5. So, Team Efficiency.
Safi will get an easy kill here onto.
Missed the first shot.
He did miss the first shot. And
missed the second shot.
Just come on, just stop and just take your shots. There we go. That's all he needed to do. Also, didn't take any damage there. So, well, he takes some there, but pretty good result now. And he just needs to get that reset onto God Tank. Still needs another reset at least. But he's used up all of his shots there. Still no tank down just yet for Efficiency.
Party's still alive. How is Party still alive?
I honestly don't know. Why is Party peeking? Well, I mean, he gets a shot, I think, into Angry B in the end there. And Bolognese might be able to close this one out while he's on the reload. So good stuff there. But incidentally, the tank HP is still pretty even here. Still, though, 4 versus 1, you'd have to say this is pretty tough for God Tank to close this one out.
If he was in like a bat chat or something like that, then maybe. But with an STB, I mean, you've got to wait for reloads.
He's got no time to cap now either.
And that's the killer. So
takes 120 seconds to cap.
Yeah. That is the killer there, the reload. So I do not think God Tank will be able to do this with only 55 seconds left. Safi getting some good shots on towards him. And there we go. Team Efficiency finish off Team EpicGear Profit on Prokhorovka 5-4. Who would have thought?
Well, yeah. It was a bit of a throw, I'd have to say, from EpicGear Profit. Like, they were in a great spot.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Somehow it just was gone. Don't know.
As that, I guess. I mean, like that poke from the TVP, in my opinion, started it. That was bad. You know, like anytime you give away free damage, right? Like you've got to think of what that can lead to, and giving away a TVP like 800 damage for free, and then that let Team Efficiency then poke across and get the kill, and more went back. The STB didn't die because the STB, again, there potentially a bit of RNG involved with that STB because, you know, ricocheted one shot on his, landed on his tracks and didn't deal damage. So, like, really it was lucky.
Yeah, was lucky there in the end, but let's have a look and see maybe where it went exactly wrong there for EpicGear Profit. At this point in the game, about 2,000 or so HP advantage. They get the pick onto JP Xerxes. Lose hot, but probably worth it, I would say.
Probably.
This was a pretty crazy sort of a move from Moore there. I got to say, he's a very brave tanker.
Yeah,
flying
well,
over.
I'm surprised he got back. And honestly, even the fact that Moore got back must have helped Team Efficiency so much.
Oh, yeah.
So, well played there by Mr. Moore and Party. Oh, the invulnerable STB1 finally going down, which was disappointing. And, well, God Tank, he just couldn't do enough, unfortunately.
Nope. All the lasers.
All the lasers.
Right in on him.
Yep. There we go. So, with God Tank going down, it marks the end of EpicGear Profit's well-fought tiebreaker loss, unfortunately. And, well, of course, for those that don't know, because they lost the tiebreaker, they don't go away empty-handed, do they, Jordan? No. They get 1 point for winning, well, for getting into the tiebreaker and losing it out. Team Efficiency get 2 points instead of the normal 3, which they would get if they didn't go to a tiebreaker. So it's, again, quite a nice system that we've got going here, and we've been seeing it put into use a lot this weekend with the amount of tiebreakers that we've been having.
Yep, definitely. It's been a pretty crazy week coming out here in World of Tanks. But let's have a look at the battle stats there. Have to see really who came up big for efficiency, because they came back from the brink. Zafi and Dexter, they're 2 dedicated Batchat players, really doing a bit of work. But I think it was more with his Superman impression over those tracks that had sort of the game-winning or the game-changing play. Someone had to do it, and Moore was the one.
Yep. Exactly. So Moore, definitely the MVP for this match, and well, Horang in that TVP with the big damage numbers, and the T110E5s didn't do too bad either. We've been seeing a little bit of success from them today, here and there, but hot there in that TVP, 942 damage. Really didn't quite stack up. And poor Mr. Skell in his AU251 getting picked early. He just had to sit and watch. But at least he sat and watched his team win. So JP Xerxes, though, down the bottom in that IS4 with only 438 damage. Not a great number.
He got taken out pretty early, remember that?
Yeah, he did, I suppose. But still, not brilliant. Only getting 1 shot through the enemies. So I think he's going to have to be going back to the training grounds on Prokhorovka, I think. Maybe practicing a little bit, because he was behind that rock as well. And, I mean, that wasn't great. Didn't work out too well for Team Efficiency, but it worked out well in the end, so I suppose that's all that matters.
Doesn't really matter how close it gets, as long as you pick up the victory there, and Team Efficiency definitely did that. 5-4 in the favour of Team Efficiency, so in the end, a pretty good performance, though one could argue that it probably shouldn't have gotten that close. Still, though, that's only our 3rd match for today. We do have 1 more coming up, so definitely don't go anywhere. We are going to head to a quick break, but after this, it's Wargaming and Karen Tiger, one of the best matches coming out this week. We hope. We'll see you in a bit.